Yo everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a review on this brand new foundation by Nars, which came out a couple of weeks ago now. This is the Light Reflecting Foundation. My shade is in M3 Stromboli, which is described as a medium with warm undertones and a yellow tone, which is pretty much exactly what I am. This does run very, very yellow, so that's just something to make you guys aware if you are kind of around and about my skin tone. So this retails at $37.50, which I would always say is quite pricey when it comes to a foundation, but I did get a student discount. I bought mine directly from Nars because I kind of got tired of waiting for all the other retailers to finally release it. So altogether there are 36 shades, which is great, so there should hopefully be something for everybody. There is a very large range of very, very light shades to very, very deep shades. So let's see what Nars says about this foundation before I give you my thoughts on it. So it says, see your skin in its best light with Light Reflecting Foundation. This innovative blend of makeup and skincare instantly blurs imperfections, smooths the look of textured skin, and helps conceal blemishes, dark spots, and redness. Visibly improves skin's clarity over 6 weeks of daily use, even after makeup is removed. Powered by advanced skincare ingredients that help defend against environmental aggressors and blue light, it immediately strengthens skin's barrier to help maintain its moisture. Suitable for most skin types, including sensitive skin, medium, buildable coverage with a natural finish, breathable all-day wear, 36 shades, makeup that looks like skin, acts like skincare, feels light as air. And then they've got a whole load of claims underneath, and it says based on a 6-week clinical study of 31 women. Wow, 31 women. That's representative of a large range of people, not? And in terms of their ingredients, they've got something called biomimetic oat, which apparently visibly improves clarity by reducing the appearance of redness while helping to soothe and calm the look of skin. Japanese lily turf immediately strengthens skin's barrier, helping to maintain its moisture. And cacao peptides and milk thistle to help reduce the negative effect of blue light and other environmental aggressors. I've said this to you guys a million times. I'm tired of cosmetic companies coming out with foundations with hybrid skincare within it. We don't need it. I wear skincare underneath my makeup. I've got sunscreen on underneath this. I want my makeup to be makeup. I don't need it to help me with wrinkles as well. That's what everything else that I use is for. I'm not going to use a foundation on a daily basis in the hopes that it will make my skin look better. Some days I don't want to wear foundation. However, I use skincare every single day. And then it's got a whole bunch of other benefits. It says makeup skincare hybrid foundation instantly blurs imperfections, smooth the look, blah. Yeah, you already said that. Featuring photochromatic technology, a photo-friendly powder that adjusts complexion tone in response to the intensity of light. Skin never appears washed out. That's something new. It says the formula contains over 81% naturally derived ingredients. Really? Not from what I've read in your ingredients, people. Like, don't get me wrong, there's a couple of nice ingredients in there, but I wouldn't say that that equates to 81%. Anyway, so, as they say, medium to buildable coverage, which I would definitely agree with. This can very easily be built up to full coverage. So for those of you that are after something which has got more light coverage, maybe you'd like the sheer glow, because this delivers straight away medium coverage, and then you just build up a tiny bit just to cover up those extra areas of marks, dark spots, that sort of thing, if you have them. Natural finish, well, I would say it looks like it's got a natural finish after I've powdered it down. When you first apply it, you look shiny, you look oily, you look greasy, you look like a glazed donut. This requires you to have to set it. If you do not set it, it will slide, it will move around, it will become greasy and separate quite quickly. So in terms of it having a natural finish, I think that term's fairly ambiguous. A natural skin is not shiny. Yeah, natural skin's got more of a kind of satin sort of finish to it. So I'm going to have to dispute that claim of theirs saying it has a natural finish. Breathable all day wear. Breathable, I don't know, you're going to have to ask my skin, can you breathe? I mean, it seems fine. All day wear, 100% not. Now, I do like the sneaky way that they haven't applied an hour to it. You know how some foundations, they're like, oh, this can be worn up to 12 hours, 8 hours, 16 hours, 24 hours, 36 hours, that sort of thing. Instead, they have written all day wear because my all day can be very shorter or longer to somebody else's all day. So it's a very sneaky little way they've put that in. But personally, as somebody who has worn it from first thing in the morning to last thing at night, I can say this definitely does not deliver all day wear. It barely delivers half day wear. This on my combination skin lasts about 6 hours before it starts to significantly break down around my chin, my nose and my forehead area. As I've got combination skin, obviously I get a slightly oily T-zone, but bear in mind I use excellent skincare ingredients which actually helps to control my levels of sebum. Therefore my skin tends to veer, especially in the winter, more towards normal. It's not warm in the UK. We are in the middle of winter. It is super cold. So the only time my temperature is going to go up is when I'm in central heating, and this does not hold up well in central heating. I wore this to work, and by the time it was just after lunchtime and I'd had it on for about 6 hours, that's when I could see all the breaking around. By the time it got to about hour 12, I had become completely shiny, very greasy, and I looked like a greasy omelette rather than a cute glazed donut. So it says that it instantly blurs imperfections. Completely, I have to agree with that. Smooths the look of textured skin. Well, I've got textured skin, and I have to say again, I agree with that. It definitely does. Helps to conceal blemishes, dark spots and redness completely. I get redness around my nose generally, and especially in my cheek areas. I tend to get quite red if I'm quite hot, angry, any kind of emotional response in my body, and my cheeks tend to go red. So this definitely covers it very nicely. Makeup that looks like skin. Again, nobody's skin is shiny, sorry. Feels light as air. Well, it has got a very nice light texture to it. So for that, I would have to agree. Let's take a little look at the bottle. It looks quite small, doesn't it? But this is 30 ml, and it is in a glass bottle, which Nars normally is. And then you open it up, and inside you can see the pump. Now the problem with this, even here you can see, is that this is quite a messy pump. If I press it down, it will squirt out quite a bit. I actually find the pump quite difficult to control. I can't take out a tiny bit at a time. It's either a lot or nothing at all. So bear in mind how hard you press this down. You may come out with more than you actually need. Now in terms of its texture, it's actually quite runny. If you hear this, you can hear the liquid inside here. So you can hear and kind of tell that it's got quite a runny texture. But the good thing about that is that it means that it spreads over the face a lot more easily than other more thicker kind of, more full coverage kind of foundations. You actually don't need to apply that much for this to cover quite a large portion of your face. A little bit goes a really long way purely because of the way that it glides across the skin very smoothly, very seamlessly, and it blends in very easily as well. It never dries down though, because like I said, as soon as you are done, you can immediately see that your skin is shiny and it needs to be set. If you don't set it, it will start to move a lot sooner. I would say at about 4 hours, it will start to shift, move around. Because it has got that kind of shiny sort of look to the face, and I wouldn't even call it dewy, I'd actually call it shiny. It never actually dries down, which means that it is very transferable. So you have to bear in mind that if you do not powder it, it will start to transfer a lot sooner. But even after a full day and the oils have started to come through, it still transfers. It transfers very quickly. But then again, I can't really say that as a negative because they haven't claimed that it is transfer proof. Now, the reason that they have kind of called it light reflecting is because of the skincare ingredients are meant to make your face look luminous. I actually draw the line at that word luminous, because luminous is one thing, right? Then there's all out shiny, and that's exactly what this delivers to pretty much every skin type out there. If you've got oily skin, I would definitely steer away from this. I know that this says that this works for all skin types. I would say no. If you've got oily skin, you're going to be quite disappointed. Bear in mind that I'm using this in the height of winter. Can you imagine how this is going to break down if I started to wear it in the summer? So I would say even be careful if you've got combination skin as well, because this will start, especially in the summer, to break down after about 4 hours, whereas at the moment it's at about 6 hours in the winter. Now in today's video, I've used my usual Morphe M439 Deluxe buffer brush because I like to buff this and blend this into my face nicely. And then I applied a squirt and a half. Well, I tried to do a squirt and a half. It came out as kind of 2 squirts. And as you can see on my face, it blends very quickly, very easily. But you can definitely see from one side of my face to the other side of my face the shininess in comparison to the more matter side of my other skin, which bear in mind is covered in all kinds of skincare. But another thing you can see is that it has completely evened out my skin tone. It's covered up all blemishes, marks. It's definitely blurred out my texture, and it's just made one side of my face look amazing, whereas the other side looks kind of blah. And then I'm just showing you what it looks like with one layer all over my entire face. Again, it blends in really, really nicely. It doesn't leave any kind of streak marks, which is what I like about this foundation as well. I find some other foundations which have got skincare in them, they're kind of streaky because there's too much skincare in there, and then it takes longer to buff them in, whereas I don't have that issue with this foundation at all. And because I do have a tiny little bit of extra marks on my cheek area, I generally go in with a tiny little bit more on those problem areas, and it blends in very, very easily and very nicely, and you cannot tell that there is more than one layer in that place. And off camera I set this with the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Complexion Perfecting Micro Powder, which I use to set all my foundations, and as a result of that, now I've got a nice natural finish to the skin. If I had left it on its own, I would look shiny, I would look greasy, and then the problem with that is as well, because this foundation doesn't actually dry down, if you were to then apply powder products on top of a liquid, it would catch on the skin, it would go patchy, blotchy, and you would look absolutely awful. The best way to apply any kind of powder onto the face after your foundation is onto almost a velvet type of texture on the skin, and that way your brushes will glide easily and you won't have any kind of weird patchiness on your face. Now, I know some people wanted me to compare this to the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Foundation. I don't know why, other than they both came out around the same time and they both claim skincare ingredients. I don't really find them comparable at all. Firstly, the shade range of this is a lot better, a lot bigger, and a lot more brown and black skin tone friendly, whereas Charlotte Tilbury is not so much. I find that this covers a lot more of the skin a lot better, whereas that is more light medium coverage. This is definitely more medium to full coverage. I find the Charlotte Tilbury one actually lasts a lot longer on the skin. However, I still kind of prefer this one purely because it just gives me that nicer amount of coverage. However, the fact that this breaks down so quickly is a very big minus in my books. I'm not a fan of NARS foundations. Between you and me, I seem to have issues with almost all of them. What I'll do is I will link my last NARS foundation video for you guys below or up here somewhere, so that you can see that I've almost given the same sort of review for that. It breaks down too fast. NARS foundations are not known for lasting long on the skin. I don't care what they say. Not a single one of them has managed to last me up to 12 hours. They all start to break down a lot sooner, and it's very, very disappointing considering they cost almost £40. I expect nothing but the best for that kind of price point. But it just goes to show that we're probably more than likely just paying more for the glass packaging more than anything else. If I had to give this a mark out of 10, I'd probably give it a 7 out of 10. Firstly, because they claim that it lasts all day when I know that it doesn't. And then the way that it breaks down, the fact that they've also said that it works for all skin types, and it really does not. And that will basically get rid of half the population of skin types who've got oily and combination skin. And I just don't think that it performs as well as it could do. And sometimes I feel that with the inclusion of all these skincare ingredients, it actually just makes it more emollient on the face, and therefore more likely to start to break down a lot sooner. However, I do also have to caveat that by saying it does look beautiful on the skin once it's set, covers all darkness, covers any dark marks. I've got dry skin on the side of my nose because I'm using an acid which is peeling my skin at the moment, and has been for some time now, and it does not grab onto those dry patches. It doesn't accentuate them or anything like that. It doesn't make me look aged or any older than I actually am as well. However, the whole breaking down of the product is a very big factor for me, especially because even though I don't have smile lines, I still have the lines on my face where I move my mouth, and once it starts to break down, it gives me 2 lines down here, and I'm like, what the hell is that? Like, what are those? So because of me talking throughout the day, it's actually started to settle in those areas, making me look like I've got fine lines on my face when I actually don't. It's just because of the movement of my face. So that's it for my review of the Light Reflecting Foundation by Nars Cosmetics. Like, comment, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Let me know what your thoughts are about this product. Please remember one thing, because I always have to sometimes mention this, especially when it's a product that's been out for a couple of weeks. Just because I don't like it doesn't mean that you won't like it. This is based solely on my experience of using this product, and all in all, I'm not that happy with it. I wore this on a night out last night. I put it on at about 3 p.m, came home at about midnight. My face was shiny, it looked awful, all my foundation had moved, it made my blusher go patchy, separated, lots of separation lines all over my face, my nose contour had slightly moved, I looked absolutely awful. And that's not what I expect for a foundation that I haven't even worn for 12 hours, and I've actually been outside in the freezing cold all day, and I'm cold, my body temperature has been cold, yet here it is moving around my face as if I'm in 35 degrees. So yeah, let me know what your thoughts are about this product. Have you tried it? Are you going to try it? Let me know what your thoughts are below. Other than that, I hope you guys are wonderful and great, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.